Hello, everyone, and welcome to a Second Star interview. Today I'm here with Dan Marvin for Dan's new picture book, If Dinosaurs Had Hair. Hi, Dan. Thanks for being here. How are you doing today?
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm doing great.
Awesome. Well, let's start with you telling us about If Dinosaurs Had Hair and why you wrote it.
Okay. Well, yeah, so If Dinosaurs Had Hairs, my new book coming out soon, and it's why I wrote it is just because I enjoy what ifs. I kind of just really I've always loved dinosaurs from the time I was a kid, and I've never grown out of it. So I've always just really had a lot of heart for dinosaurs, and actually the kind of where the story came from was my agent, Natasha Morris. Just we talked a lot, and we were exchanging notes over Twitter, and she had seen that a paleontologist tweeted that it's at least possible dinosaurs could have had hair, because hair wouldn't remain through fossils. So
Right.
it's possible. And so that possibility alone gave her the thought of, like, she thought, Dan, you write quirky, fun stuff. I bet you could turn this into something. And so that was how it started, and we just had a lot of fun with it. And it just feels like a possible backstory to not only the possibility of dinosaurs having had hair, but also maybe a different reason why extinction may have came around. So we were able to kind of work that in a fun way that isn't too heavy or anything.
Yeah, I got a chance to already read it and I love it. It's silly, it's fun. It's the perfect dinosaur picture book for kids, and I think they'll really enjoy it a lot. You have children of your own, right?
I do, yeah. My wife and I, we have two kids. They're not so little anymore. They're past picture book age at this point, but
Oh, okay.
yeah, my son Cooper is 15 and my daughter Audrey is 14. And they still, when I'll write something I'm really excited about, they'll read it. And If Dinosaurs Had Hair was one of those things, and they both had a few laughs. So I was like, I appreciate that, even though they're past like picture book kid age at this point.
Yeah. Well, did you kind of, when writing If Dinosaurs Had Hair, even though they are a bit older, was writing it a mixture of writing it for like their little kid selves, but also for yourself of a picture book you would have wanted as a kid?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And it was that for sure. Like again, growing up loving dinosaurs, I remember one of my favorite books as a kid was a book called Dinosaur Days, which was like an early reader book. And so I had only just a few like really favorite books as a kid. And so I was definitely kind of writing to kid Dan, but also to my kids, because like I think, maybe what I was into as a kid is kids these days are just a little different. The world's a little different. And
Right.
I think there's more influence from pop culture and things. So even there's some good 80s hair references in the story, and my kids get those even though they didn't grow up in the 80s, just because of the world we live in. They're aware.
Yeah,
So yeah, that definitely was an influence, I think, thinking about it from a kid's point of view.
that's awesome. So, in writing this book, what did you bring to the table that you learned from your other picture book, But I Don't Eat Ants? And then what did you learn from If Dinosaurs Had Hair that you'll bring to your next picture book?
Oh, that's a good question. I think part of what I probably brought from But I Don't Eat Ants, and it's kind of what I try to do almost always, is just I like a good read aloud quality. And so sometimes it's rhyming. I don't write rhyming picture books, but there'll be a bit of rhyme here and there. There'll be a bit of alliteration, and just something that's fun to say and fun to hear. And so I definitely did that with But I Don't Eat Ants. There's certain lines that I'll read them when I'm doing story time with kids, and they'll repeat them back to me, and I'm like, okay, so I know that one over well. That's good, noted. So I don't know. I think I tried to do some of that with If Dinosaurs Had Hair as well. And so as far as what I'll carry over to future books, that's a really good question. I mean, I definitely that's part of my, I don't know, I love wordplay. I probably over rely on it, if I'm being honest. I'll try to have a story first, like it's got to have a strong beginning, middle, end, all that. But then once I know where the story's going, I just want to, have a whole lot of fun with it and just make it fun to read and fun to listen to. But I think what I'll carry over is just this one had maybe just a little more for kind of like certain Disney and Pixar movies and things, where there's something in it for the parents too.
Yes.
I tried to do that more in If Dinosaurs Had Hair, and I think it went over well. We'll see soon, I guess. And so I hope to continue doing that. Never at the, never sacrificing. They're kids books, and that's what they need to be. But
Right.
if I can get something in there that kids will appreciate and the parents will too, then that's a win. I like it when I am reading aloud and I get a laugh out of parents too.
Yeah, and no spoilers on my part, but I think the adults will get a kick out of it too, because even with the gossip at the hair salon and everything, I think that might go a little over a kid's head at the moment, but for the adults, that's definitely a good understanding and a good nod to them as well.
Right, right. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so are you able to tell us what's next for you in the writing world?
Well, I've got several other manuscripts in the works and at various stages of going out, but I don't have anything else like in the pipeline just yet that I can give a date to. But I continue to work with Natasha, my agent, and she's just so great. But we have a lot of things we have heart for, and we will see. But I don't have the next thing to announce just yet.
No worries. Would you work with your illustrator again? Because the hair on the dinosaurs is so fantastic in this book.
Yeah. Oh, I would love to. Leslie Vamos just did
Yeah,
such an amazing job on this. I'm so, happy that that we were able to work with her on this. Yeah, just as you said, I love where she took things. When we were looking at illustrators and found her, her style. For one, she had done dinosaurs before a bit, so we got to see some examples of what those might look like. But she's just got a carefree, fun style about her, and it really, really comes across. So yeah, as far as would I work with her again, I would love to. Absolutely.
I know you obviously listed some of the hairstyles in the book and even had fun with, like you were saying, the wordplay with combining hairstyles and dinosaurs. But for the ones not mentioned, did you get to kind of work with Leslie on what hairstyles you wanted featured in the book, or like even the colors or anything like that?
A bit, but that was she definitely had freedom there. So like that was a bit of like, her taking the story that was written and having the creative freedom to put herself into it, and have
Yeah.
so and there were changes here and there, like or it kind of evolved over time just to make sure that we were being inclusive enough. We wanted every possible kind of hairstyle, and you're right, there's all different colors too, and just
Yeah.
fun as far as that goes. But we just really wanted to get a variety and just make it like where you could see yourself in the different hairstyles, hopefully.
Yeah, the colors that Leslie picked for the hairstyles were just so amazing. And it's funny seeing the dinosaurs with hair because I feel like if the right, or sorry, not the right, if a different artist had done it, it would not have been the same. Like they are funny,
Hmm.
they are full of life, and they are almost the second character to the dinosaurs in the book. And I think Leslie did a great job with that.
I completely agree. Well, and
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I think hairstyles more than any other feature in a way, like they're a big part of us. You see them right away, and they do not hide in this book. They're right there for all to see. But it's funny, like in working on it too, talking to Natasha and talking to the Makisha and Connie at the publisher at Roaring Brook Press. Like we all exchange a lot of funny notes and stuff about different hairstyles we've had over the years. Some of them we're maybe not super proud of, but
Yeah.
like as you look back, it's fun. Like a hair is a big part of our personalities, and over time now, like I now have some gray hair, and it's coming in right like a little skunk stripe right down the middle, and that's fun. That's all. It's just all. It's not really part of our personality, but it is part of how we present ourselves, and so it made for really good fodder for the book because it's, I think, relatable to everybody.
Oh, 100%. I agree with that. So when growing up, did any books inspire you to become a writer?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think through the years I had different favorites, but I think I know what inspired me most. But like when I was really young, my mom would tell me that there was a book called oh shoot, I don't know if I'm going to think of the name of it off the top of my head. But I had a favorite as a really young child, and then that dinosaur days I remember being my favorite through kind of like probably fourth, fifth, sixth grade, somewhere in that range. But it was when I started reading Shel Silverstein.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
I felt like I was getting away with something reading his books, like Where the Sidewalk Ends and things like that. I was almost a little surprised that we were allowed to read it or something. And I think what I appreciated is that he didn't talk down to kids. Like he spoke
No.
to us like we're on the same level. And some of his poems and things are like kind of dark for kids, just slightly. But they're matter of fact and funny and fun to read. And So I just think those always really stuck with me and inspired me. And I was like, I want to write like that, you know. And even as an adult, we have all of his books, and my kids, like, they appreciated them when they were really young, and they still do now. So it's just, they have lasting power that way. So I think if there was an author in particular, it was Shel Silverstein.
I like what you said there about him not talking down to kids, because that is 100%. He, like you're saying, some of the poems were dark, and he addresses issues, he addresses things that kids have questions about. And I feel like if Dinosaurs Had Hair, even with you saying that you did some nods to the parents, it didn't feel like you were talking down to the kids at all. It was just, here's what's happening in the book, and if a kid gets it, great. If not, then the parent is at least laughing about it. Maybe they can explain it to the kid, but it never felt like the jokes you were throwing in there for the adults was like talking down to the kids at all. It was just in there. So I think you did a great job of capturing that as well.
Thanks, I appreciate that.
Yeah. So for inspiring picture book authors, what advice would you have for them?
I think, for one, I mean, I feel like a lot of what I would have to say is what I heard when I first really got into it several years ago. But so much of it is just the keep writing, and then, like, once you have some stories that you have any heart for, that you feel like they've got some promise, it's at that stage that it's good to start looking into the process. If someone wants to be published, to look into that process, because that's what I did. I looked into it earlier on than I was ready to have anything published, but understood the process, because it is very much a process. Like this book, I sold it over 3 years ago, and it's just now going to be out in the world, you know. So it's a I think we're in a very fast-paced world, but the children's publishing world is very slow-paced, and that can be a good thing, I think, because, like, you can come along slowly and understand and get better and better at your craft. And so I guess my main advice is just enjoy doing it, make it a fun thing. And then if you have a story that you have tons of heart for, you know, fingers crossed that it'll get picked up and someone will love it enough to put it out in the world. But it's just keep doing it, and then find your community. Like, I've got a few different communities that I'm a part of. So SCBWI,
Yeah.
and then 12 by 12, which is a writing book challenge kind of that I've been a part of for, I think, 7 years now, 6, 7 years. But the idea with that is to write one children new story a month. So 12 books in 12 months, 12 stories in 12 months. And Julie Headland started that, and it's just such an amazing
Oh, we love
community.
Julie.
Yes, oh, she's so great.
Hmm.
But yeah, so finding your community is a big part of, I think, enjoying the process and enjoying the writing, and getting feedback from as many other writers as you can. And 12 by 12, more than anything else, has really set me up for success that way.
That's amazing. That's really cool. Well, to end on a funny note in honor of your picture book,
Yeah.
if you had to choose one dinosaur to be the hairstylist for, which dinosaur would you choose, and what hairstyle would you want to do for that dinosaur?
Such a good question. I love this. Well, I mean, I have a favorite dinosaur. It's never changed my whole life, and it's Triceratops. And I don't know exactly why, other than I think they're cool looking. It's not a whole lot deeper than that. The three horns is just really, really cool. And then, as far as a hairstyle, I think pigtails are fun. So I'm gonna go with pigtails, just because I think Triceratops, they're very rhinoceros-like, and they seem very serious and gruff. And
Yeah,
pigtails are the opposite of that. They're super fun to me. So I'm gonna go with the Triceratops with pigtails.
I love it. That's a great choice. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. And anytime you're in Denver, you are more than welcome at Second Star to the Right Books. And to purchase If Dinosaurs Had Hair, just click the link in the bio. Thanks for joining us today, Dan.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
Bye.
Bye.